Отлично, отлично. Итак, меня вроде как слышно. Сейчас осталось только понять, как мне будет лучше видно. Да, без лампы будет получше, наверное. Итак, я играл только... Ну как, я играл только... Я играл в 2 части Call of Juarez. Но, на самом деле, это не дает никакого представления того, что ждать от этой части. Но она хотя бы сворачивается нормально, в отличие от Dark Messiah. Это уже идет большой плюс. Значит, я могу вот сейчас взять и погуглить, что он из себя представляет. Так. Касенька, иди сюда, солнышко. Как я могу без тебя стримить? Эта часть ушла после коктейля, так что это самое. Касенька, иди сюда. В 2013 году. Ничего себе. Самая последняя свежая часть. Надо будет вузы хобби еще поиграть. Есть еще 4 минуты. Есть пока возможность чай налить и Касю погладить. Я тут. Я надеюсь, что... Ну, всех привет, кто зашел. Я надеюсь, что звук в этот раз от камеры, от микрофона идет получше. И время без минуты, но все-таки начнем. Вряд ли сейчас толпа из 50 человек придет. Пу-пу-пу-пу-пу. Настройки, настройки, настройки. Ага. Допустим. 7. Ой. Качество. Окей. Ладно. Начать игру, наверное. Это... История, хорошо. Игра много на себя берет, не давая высокую сложность.
Don't I know you, sir?
Don't believe so. I haven't been here in many years. Name's Silas Greaves.
Silas Greaves? The bounty hunter?
Used to be.
Well, what are you doing here in Abilene?
Just passing through. Got a little business to take care of.
Well, sir, it would be an honor if you would allow me to buy you a beer.
Hell, son, it would be my honor to drink it.
I'm Molly. Howdy.
I'm Dwight. That's Jack and Steve. Ben's behind the bar. Oh, I bet you got some great stories.
A couple.
Any of them true?
Jack, be nice.
A few.
What about your shootout with Henry Plummer's gang in Bannock, Montana? Is that where you started as a bounty hunter? That's what it says in this here dime novel.
Don't believe everything you read in them dime novels, boy. First man I hunted was back when I was riding with Billy the Kid.
You knew Billy the Kid?
Damn right. That scrawny son of a bitch had no fear. Wouldn't back down for nobody.
I heard he collected the 10 stars off any crooked lawmen who crossed him.
It was a war, boy. The Lincoln County War. And Billy promised his regulators would take the life of every bastard who helped bushwhack John Tunstall.
Kid had a big chip on his shoulder and a hair-trigger temper. Made him dangerous as hell. It was about 30 years ago. Billy was hiding out in an abandoned farm near Stinking Springs. I threw in with the kid because the man I had sworn vengeance on was riding with Billy's enemies. But before I tell you why I want that sumbitch dead, let me tell you what happened that day. I was heading back to the hideout when suddenly I had this funny feeling.
Funny, ha-ha?
No, Steve. The other kind of funny.
You heard Pat. You need to stay here and keep an eye on the road.
That's not fair. We're missing all the fun.
I knew those two morons would never let me through. I had no choice.
Да ладно, я уверен, все не так плохо.
Is he with us?
Это РПГ теперь.
Was it Pat Garrett's posse?
Oh, yeah. I heard the shots and I knew I had to move fast. Garrett and his army of deputies had surrounded the entire homestead.
Spread out, goddammit! They're coming from the rear!
I decided to help Billy and the boys out a bit. So that's just what I did.
Hey, we got one behind us! Stay on it! Cover fire!
As the governor of New Mexico was paying for the kid's apprehension, Garrett was able to hire every gun hand in Lincoln County.
Son of a bitch!
I knew that going through that front door meant putting my butt in a shooting gallery, so I decided to get sneaky.
Time to die!
Окей. Игра, ты дашь мне поиграть-то? Ну, не знаю, давайте с пистолетами побегаем.
bunch of chickens with their heads cut off. Still, one of them reached the water tower. Not a bad idea. It would be a turkey shoot from up there.
You ain't going nowhere.
Ну, пока непонятно. Типа
Luckily,
Borderlands,
these shooters Garrett
грубо
hired
говоря.
weren't the sharpest tools in the shed. A lot of them were saddle tramps or sod busters or drunken drifters looking to make a few bucks. Then, I heard a friendly voice yelling at me from the window. Back door! We'll cover you!
Stop aiming, you idiots.
Truth be told, things weren't much better behind the house.
What's your flank?
I cut their numbers in half, but that just made the ones that were left twice as mad.
А,
They made up for their lack of skill with a seemingly endless supply of ammo. It was a bit of a slog, but I finally fought my way around the back of the house. And like that, I was inside,
dead, you
none the
bastards!
worse for wear. I passed Dirty Dave, and upstairs I
Yeah,
found
and a
Billy
rat in
and
a
Charlie
trap.
Bouldry.
I'll put you down. How about that? Ah, you like that?
а вон там стреляет.
Billy looked at me and said, "About time, amigo. Grab a gun and get to the window."
Wait, so you were friends with Billy the Kid?
Yeah, sort of. Anyway, we were surrounded by dozens of deputized shooters who wanted to do us harm. I'm telling you, Garrett's men were dropping like flies, but they just kept on coming.
Where the hell Garrett get to? He's missing one.
That's when Charlie got hit. "They're catching us in a crossfire," shouted Billy. "Get to the other side."
Так, что там могу прокачать? Допустим.
I don't know how many of those cocksuckers I personally put down, but it was pretty clear, even to Billy, that maybe discretion was the better part of valor.
What's that mean?
It means that it was time to cut and run. They got a Gatling gun shot. Get the horses and bring them real back. I'll draw their attention.
Что там по заданию? Ага.
He directed that order at me, and I thought, why the hell do I have to do it? But I went anyway. Dumbass that I was back then.
Ху-ху-ху.
But I
Так уж
have
внезапно
that false
получилось.
sense of invincibility that many young men have. Like Jack here.
What are you saying, old man?
Jack was joshing with him.
В смысле? Это еще что за...
Mr. Greaves, please continue.
Please call me Silas, ma'am. Now, where was I?
You were heading for the barn.
Gonna make you bleed! Oh. Making my way past a passel of fallen foes.
Это что такое еще было?
I'm ending you!
Sounds like Garrett hired a whole regiment of hired guns.
Yeah, and just when I thought I was done with them, more of these hapless bastards would pop up. Finally, I had the stables within my reach. And that's when I met Sheriff Pat Garrett.
I read that you went toe-to-toe with him, sir. That backstabbing bastard with that tacked-on tin star. You challenged him to a showdown.
You read that in a dime novel?
It said he showed no fear as he took your measure with eyes like a rattlesnake.
Так, что надо делать? Ну что сюда? Надо на пистолет смотреть. Дабл килл.
And that you killed him in a fair fight.
Is that what that Penny Dreadful said? No, boy. That ain't what I meant when I said I met Pat Garrett. So let me start again. I finally reached those damn stables.
Да. О. О. Это пригодится.
Stepped inside, and last thing I heard was Garrett's voice. That's not Billy.
And go on. How did it end?
And, boy, that was just the beginning.
Ладно. То есть такая игра. Хорошо.
So what happened? Did Garrett arrest you?
Yeah, after I came to, the bastard had clocked me with his Colt.
And the kid surrendered?
when he realized there was no getting out of there alive.
So they locked you up in Lincoln?
Indeed they did. Sentenced me to hang right along with the kid.
И там они умерли. Зиму пережили. Хотя дюйм этих лет.
It's
Думаю,
important to know that I was only riding with Billy so I could find the bastard I was after. He was with John Kinney's gang, and they were sworn enemies of Billy's regulators.
Why were you after him?
I owed that son of a bitch a bullet for what he had done to me and mine. Instead, all I got for myself was a goddamn death sentence. Luckily, it was right around then that I heard Billy make his move. He shot Jim Bell and a few other guards as he made his getaway. Later, they wrote that some lady friend planted a pistol for him in the privy. What the papers didn't say is that Billy helped me escape too. My first order of business was finding a firearm. Luckily, I located Deputy Bob Ollinger's mean-ass shotgun. I saw Billy through the window, and he yelled that I should take to the rooftops to make my escape. So I did.
Anybody see Billy? Shot Jim Bell!
Hell yeah. That scattergun was like a double-barreled howitzer. It could blow a man clear off his feet. You hardly had to aim the damn thing. Guards were everywhere looking for him.
Can't let the kid get away.
Я что-то сделал не так. Виньетка по краям. А, все.
I had to jump from roof to roof like a damn alley cat. I followed the planks where I could, but some of that wood was slippery as hell. The whole town was up in arms. And suddenly, I was a fugitive.
How the hell did the kid escape? Dad's gonna kick our ass!
So that bastard you were after, what did he do?
He did me and my family a grievous harm. But I knew if I was ever going to find him, I would need to get my ever-loving ass out of there. I tried to be stealthy and sneak my way past.
This town doesn't have a moment's peace.
Bernie, get you! You!
But hell, if they weren't all waiting for me. Apparently, some of them thought I was Billy.
Found somewhere!
See, me and the kid shared a certain similarity in build and color. I was just glad I had Deputy Bob's mean-ass shotgun.
You won't get away from me! Ah, you yellow bastard! That's it for you!
So much lead was whizzing by my head, it was like everyone in Lincoln wanted to put me in the ground. I knew I needed to find a horse. Though I never did have a great fondness for those four-legged grass eaters. Smelly, sweaty, ungrateful beasts. The price is too high.
Моя меткость не знает границ. Обе стороны.
That town's going to hell in a handbasket.
А, все.
But where was the kid while you were busy getting shot at?
Gone. And that's when it occurred to me why Billy set me free. So I could be a hapless decoy and draw attention while he snuck out of town.
Понятно, то есть лютые сцены.
I'm in the top. In for the kill. He has it coming.
А второй раз мне не дадут касцену? Ну.
Give it up! Get the women off the street! Arm yourselves! We can take them! We're gonna be in deep shit when Pat gets back. Stop it! I'm here. Kill him! I think he's scared. Don't let him get away.
Касенька, солнышко. Все теплое.
Had enough?
Finally, I found what I was looking for. The stables on the edge of town.
I guess Billy saved your ass, taking out Bob Ollinger the way he did.
Billy didn't kill Bob.
Well, sure he did. He dispatched him right after he shot Deputy Bell.
No, sir. Because Bob came right up behind me, angry as hell that Billy had lit out. Hello, Bob, I said. I think you better let me go. And he says, I don't think so, boy. Not with my shotgun. So we stood there in the middle of the street, eyeball to eyeball. He intended to kill me, and I knew I had no
Кася,
choice but to
Кася, сейчас
defend
не время
myself.
охотиться за рукой. Касенька, иди сюда. Так.
I killed him in a fair fight. Everybody saw I had no damn choice. Well, Lincoln got a mite depopulated that day. Pat Garrett gunned down Billy 3 months later, so his escape was all for naught anyway.
Спойлеры.
So where'd you go after Lincoln?
Mexico. Until I realized nobody was looking for me. I ended up taking a job at the Rurales.
Хотя.
Mexican
Касенька.
Ruales?
I was hired to help them track down the cowboys.
The most vicious outlaw gang in Cochise County? Curly Bill Brocious? Johnny Ringo?
Led by old man Clanton himself.
They must have paid you a pretty penny to take them hombres on.
Not really. But truth be told, I had my own reasons for going after those boys.
Что, я не получил очка прокачки? А, ну, получил.
So was the bastard you were after now riding with the cowboys?
Roscoe Bob Bryant was his name.
Oh.
But no, this time it was a different bastard I was after. The aforementioned Mr. Ringo. And yes, he was working for old man Clanton.
Hey, fucking run.
I came upon them robbing a stagecoach, which wasn't surprising, being they were such murderous thieves and bastards. The bandits wore red scarves, so I knew they worked for the old man. Over there! There! I did my best.
Самый детский стрелок на Диком Западе.
Done with you. Get him!
Moments later, the attackers were dead, and I checked the stagecoach to see how many passengers were still breathing. None. It was then I wondered if the rocks weren't hiding more bandits. Was that all of them? Or did I just hit the rear guard? I quickly got my answer. They attacked from on high like Apaches often did. They would appear in great numbers from above and rain down lead on their hapless enemies' heads, making use of the high ground and whatever else they had. Yep, the Apaches always appeared out of nowhere, and there never seemed to be an end to them.
Hold on. Were you attacked by Apaches? What happened to the cowboys?
Did I say they were Apaches? I said Clanton's cowboys attacked me Apache style. I was in a pitched battle, but I was holding my own against an overwhelming enemy force.
Get him!
Кто сидит за сюжетом?
Where's he going?
See, at the time, I was still pretty green, but often blunder into regrettable situations. But I just kept shooting at anything I could see up in those damn rocks. see Ringo, but I knew he was with the Cowboys. He and Roscoe Bob had done me a dreadful wrong, and I was determined to have my revenge. But to get to Ringo, I knew I'd have to fight my way past these other assholes first.
Stand and fight, coward! He's getting away!
Пацанов попал.
Unfortunately, I was running out of ammo. Another perfect example of my relative inexperience as a hunter of men. I immediately knew that a tactical retreat was called for, as my vengeful fury was much less impressive without the bullets to back it up. Finally, they managed to corner me. Trapped as I was, the odds of my survival seemed pretty slim.
Небольшой перерыв. Так, возвращаемся потихоньку в реалии Дикого Запада. Только почему-то... все, игра вернулась тоже.
Luckily, serendipity was on my side as I suddenly spotted a way out of my predicament.
Ну такая комиксовая.
I ran ahead as if the devil himself was after me. Bullets were whizzing by my ears, but I wasn't about to roll over and die. I just kept running like there was no tomorrow. Because there wouldn't be if Clanton and his men caught up with me. As I was scurrying around those caves, I thought, what was I thinking? Going up against a gang like this.
Okay.
I just kept running, not knowing where the hell I was going. And that's when something miraculous happened. Like manna from heaven, I found the desiccated remains of what looked like an Apache warrior. The old weapon next to him supplied me with some much-needed ammunition. Pat Masterson once told me it was more important to be lucky than good, and he would know. And imagine my surprise when I found a fistful of dynamite to go along with that ammo. That stroke of good fortune evened the odds and bolstered my confidence. It was time to turn the tables. Time for the prey to become the predator. Time for the hunted to become the hunter. Time...
All right, Jesus, we get it. They were right where you wanted them.
That's right, Jack. I was done running. And the old man's boys were not expecting that. No, sir. I came at them like a wildcat. My fury knew no bounds. for that old man to pay for his sins. I yelled out at the top of my lungs, "Clanton, I'm coming for you!" A little stealth might have made more sense, to be perfectly honest. Because that old fool had a Gatling gun and enough bullets to last him till kingdom come. But I knew I could not let that deter me. Not if I was to find and kill Ringo. I needed to get that old man off that hill. Do I gotta reload again? Most everyone thought it was the Juarez who had come up against him in Guadalupe Canyon, but it was just me.
Ай. Ну, Ай. Так. Мне надо убежать или не убежать? А непонятно.
Apparently, one of the cowboys made it out of there alive and told Ike and Billy Clanton that it wasn't a Mexican who took their father's life that day. They just assumed it was one of the Earps, and that little misunderstanding eventually led to that legendary gunfight at the OK Corral.
Кась, иди сюда. Кась. Надо идти отдыхать, конечно. Как я же хотел бездумно
A
шутка.
few weeks after that dust up at the OK Corral, I was still after Johnny Ringo. I had tracked him and the cowboys to their hideout at a sawmill, and they were loaded for bear.
So, what exactly did Johnny Ringo do to piss you off?
Well, him and that other bastard.
Roscoe Bob Bryant?
Yep. They both deserve to die, and I promise I'll tell you why. First, I need to tell you about the Cowboys' new boss, Curly Bill Brocious.
Herb's coming!
Get ready, boys. Curly Bill took charge of the Cowboys upon the old man's demise, and after that gunfight at the OK Corral, the Clantons wanted revenge.
Так, одно очко всего доступно.
So they murdered Morgan Earp and grievously wounded his older brother, Virgil.
That ain't Herb!
Очень интересно. Ну, чтобы продолжил перепроходить этого Outlaws.
Wyatt and Doc went on what became known as the Vendetta Ride, hunting those outlaws down. So when I showed up, that's who they thought I was.
Окей.
There were killers around every corner, all wearing red bandanas. That's how the cowboys identified each other. And I was beginning to wish I had one myself. But I wasn't about to let Ringo walk away unscathed. And that's what drove me forward.
They say that Ringo was infernally fast.
I hardly saw anyone faster, boy. Certainly not Wyatt Earp. That man was all hat and no cap.
Earp wasn't much of a match for him, but Doc Holliday might have taken him.
That lunger should have kept his nose out of it. They never charged anyone for the murder of Morgan Earp.
Эх. Что за фигню я взял вместо револьверов? Не, на особой сложности тут делать было бы нечего. Да, что за хрень-то, где мои револьверы?
But everybody knew that Curly shot him in the back. That was common knowledge.
Yeah, maybe so. But Ringo had nothing to do with it. He was just being loyal to a friend.
Is that what you call it? Being loyal. Well, to get to that loyal friend, I had to pass by some buzzsaws as big as a man.
Тут, очевидно, пригодился бы этот.
Excuse me, sir. I have a question.
What's that, Dwight?
After old man Clanton died, why didn't his son take over the Cowboys?
Because Ike Clanton was dumber than a box of rocks and a yellow belly to boot. Now, where was I?
Taking down the entire cowboy gang single-handed.
Indeed I was, Jack. Though it wasn't easy, as those boys had good cover.
Хочешь чуть заносить.
There were carts everywhere, piles of lumber, and God knows what else for people to hide behind. That really was one hell of a sawmill. Quite an impressive operation.
And where was Curly Bill? Did you see him?
I'm about to get to that, Ben. Patience. I'm painting a picture here. There was this beautiful waterfall and a crystal clear stream that led to a verdant valley that was truly...
Consider your picture painted. What happened next?
Well, finally the bastards that were still alive made a last stand.
Нет, просто качалка захватила меня. Так, дробовик. Нет, нафиг. Могу прокачать что-нибудь? Нет, 0. Кстати, скоро. Забавно, что Bullet Storm, который я тоже хотел запустить, я выбирал между Bullet Storm и этим. Так вот, Bullet Storm тоже имеет как бы прокачку, очки.
Curly Bill, Johnny Ringo, and his compadres took off into the lumber yard, and I followed after.
Доски под открытым небом, под дождем. Ничем не прикрыты. Кучерявый, кучерявый.
Are you saying they ran? Cowardice was not in Ringo nor Curly Bill's nature.
No, sir. I never said they were running scared. They just wanted me out in the open.
Dance with the devil. You working for Wyatt Earp? Just me, that son of a bitch. Make him pay for that. Come out wherever you are. Like I killed Morgan Earp. You asshole!
Вот как Borderlands, только скучный.
Just gave me no choice but to take his life. But Ringo was nowhere to be found.
I knew you didn't kill Ringo, because he was found dead in a different location altogether.
To this day, his killer is still unknown.
Indeed. Took me a few months before I finally tracked his ass to West Turkey Creek Canyon.
Пу.
That's incredible, sir. I always thought that Doc Holliday was the one that killed him. That's incredible, sir. I always thought that Doc Holliday was the one that killed him.
Очень большая инерционность у правой этой. Правой мыши. Правого этого круга.
Sorry, I
Голову,
had to
конечно.
ruin the legend for you, boy. But the legend ain't always true. Doc Holliday had nothing to do with the death of Johnny Ringo. I was paid a healthy bounty for Ringo and Curly Bill, and realized there was real money to be made. That's why I went after Henry Plummer.
Невиновные или
Wasn't he
невинные.
the sheriff who augmented his income by shaking down miners and robbing gold shipments?
That's the one.
Oh, yeah, I remember him. He ran that gang of thieving outlaws called the Innocents.
So it's true that you went toe-to-toe with him?
Indeed I did, son. Indeed I did.
Великолепный одиночка. Одиночная одиночка.
I knew I needed resources if I was going to track down Roscoe Bob Bryant.
Это мы берем.
Hunting Plummer looked like a good way to get rich quick, as the local vigilantes exposed him as the leader of the bandits and put a generous price on his head. Plummer rallied his gang to plunder one last gold mine before making their escape, and that's where I thought I'd find him.
It makes me nervous standing so close to all these goddamn barrels of gunpowder.
Why would you be nervous? No one has the cojones to come after us. As long as you don't light up a cigar, we're fine. Besides, George...
As my late father pointed out to me more than once, God made men. Samuel Cole made me. I knew that dynamite wasn't mine, so I decided the polite thing would be to return it. It was the biggest gold rush since Sutter's Mill in '48. Unfortunately, prospectors weren't the only ones drawn to those riches. There were thieves and killers, robbing travelers, and hijacking gold ships. Like those that ran with Plummer. Some were just regular folks I knew from town, drawn by greed and easy pickings. Charlie Crow, the blacksmith.
Time to blow your shit.
James, who worked in the stable. Plummer had a lot of men on his payroll. A hell of a lot. That son of a bitch pretended to protect the public with one hand while stealing them blind with the other. Of course, the rest were veterans of the Civil War. Stone cold killers trained on the bloody fields of Shiloh and
Не
Antietam.
ожидал. Пропускай, конечно, весь сюжет, потому что, ну, как бы... Стоять, пока они там болтают, что будет? Кому надо?
He set up a defensive perimeter which I had no idea how to breach. Dangerous, desperate individuals. I was outnumbered and in way over my head, but I was too damn stubborn and stupid to realize it. They must have thought I was touched, or had some kind of death wish, seeing as there were barrels of gunpowder everywhere. I thought I was some kind of hero. I finally made it past and headed on to meet my destiny. But first, I had something I needed to figure out.
Можно же браться в тележку, да?
I had a few ideas on how to get into that mine, but once I made my decision, I knew there was no turning back. So my first thought was to enter the nearest mine portal. I saw an entrance. Made sense. It was the quickest way in, but that also made it more dangerous, as there would undoubtedly be enemy pickets posted along the way.
Или я могу снять тормоз с этой вагонетки и отправиться по ней. А! Вниз вот так вот, да. На дно. Опа-на.
You can't beat the innocence. Come on out, you yellow bastard.
Можно добавить тут вкладку, если видите.
Besides, once you enter a mine like that, it's easy to get all turned around. And that confusing maze of corridors wouldn't even be the worst of it. Some of those shafts
Сложнее
can
попасть,
be
сложнее
deep as
попасть.
hell.
Ой, сложнее промахнуться.
A single stumble or misstep can easily end in a deadly plunge to oblivion. Quick reflexes often make up for a lack of common sense. Luckily, I was never one to be easily bushwhacked. I would just need to be careful not to blow myself to kingdom come.
Surprise!
With all that gunpowder and dynamite everywhere, the body has to know what he's shooting at.
О, прикольный уровень. Да, конечно, обрез. То, что нужно.
One wrong bullet could have turned that mine into a dad blasted tube.
Ну, лучше в голову, чем он там взорвет бочки сзади. Это что, уже после того, как он взорвал бочки?
Freely admit that my plan of attack was not just moronic, but clearly insane. It's a good thing that I abandoned that ridiculous plan before I even tried it. Instead, I spotted a ladder, way into the mine from the opposite side.
Ну, прикольно.
It was a long way around, but that approach seemed more sensible at the time. Of course, being I had a problem with heights, that scaffolding scared the bejesus out of me.
Вот это полезно.
Climbing down that ladder required some caution. Because even though I had a younger man's reflexes, no man can dodge a damn bullet while climbing down a rickety ladder. I needed to make a leap of faith, which ain't easy when you're suspended between heaven and hell.
А тут не должно быть еще одной лестницы. Блин, вообще все. У меня вообще не было, ну как бы, при отсутствии вообще знания механики, что тут есть, тут можно попытаться что-то схватиться, а нам ни за что не приходилось хвататься, то я сейчас пробую просто на удачу, потому что нам больше вообще некуда.
That 10,000 they put on his head would go a long way to helping me find old Bob. And I had made it my mission to settle that score come hell or high water.
You must be about out of bullets.
But first, I would have to make a choice.
Опять.
Take the elevator or climb the ladder.
Что-то фигня, что-то фигня.
I wanted to use the element of surprise. Plus, I figured I could use the exercise. I was warmed up already, so what the hell?
Я сделал правильный выбор. Спорт — это жизнь. Хоть и тяжелая.
Plumber was a mad dog killer.
And the people of Nevada City deserve better.
Nevada City? Well, I thought
Да.
Plummer met his maker in Bannock, Montana.
Что только что произошло? Почему меня убили? Ну, как бы я понимаю, почему. Но почему я же воспользовался концентрацией.
Right, well, he was the sheriff of both places at one time or another, but that's neither here nor there.
Ты вообще откуда здесь взялся?
The point was, taking him down would save a lot of lives, including my own.
Нет. Перепрыгнуть нельзя. А куда? А. Иногда тут доски просто эти подкрашенные, разброшены просто так. Так что нельзя утверждать, что каждая подкрашенная доска ведет. Так.
This is gonna hurt. This day is just getting worse and worse for you.
Henry Plummer was clearly unhinged, and I could see right away that this was gonna take some doing.
That's too bad enough. I need some help here. Come on, boys. Take this fucker out. Bury you in a million pieces. I'm going medieval. Just kill him. I can shoot too.
So that's how Henry Plummer died. Him and his crew were worth their weight in gold. And now, I was officially a bounty hunter.
Окей.
So, did you finally go after that Bob feller?
Well, I heard word he was in Kansas with John Wesley Hardin. So that's where I went.
Where in Kansas?
Abilene. Why do you ask, Ben?
No reason.
Was Hardin as fast as Ringo?
Ringo was fast, but John Wesley was as fast as the devil himself.
Джон Уизли. Это который из Гарри Поттера.
Hell, he killed his first man at 15. From that day forward, he had a price on his head and wouldn't back down for nobody, not even
Для
Wild Bill
15 он
Hickok
выглядит,
himself.
сказать, житье тогда тяжкое было.
I dodged death many a time, and that night in Abilene was no different. I was there with the intention of finding that bastard Bob and collecting the bounty on John Wesley.
Итак, меня убили 30 лет назад.
thought the Texas Rangers got Hart.
Yeah, that's what they want you to believe. It was Colton, a witch's tit, and a brass bra that night as I fought my way past his loyal compadres. To the very same saloon we're sitting in today. Look around and imagine this place painted in blood. Hardin was waiting for me. Wait, I'm jumping the gun here. Let me back up and give you some background on this sumbitch. He deserves that much. Don't you think so, Ben? John Wesley Hardin was a killer. By the end, he confessed to taking the lives of 42 men. Fathers and husbands, brothers and sons, men with families who cared about them. He was a bona fide folk hero by then, and had amassed a gang of armed miscreants and other assorted thugs. He and his men set up camp outside of town, and I was hoping Bob was among them.
Shit, it's cold out here. Freezing my giblets. Damn it! Shoot that son of a bitch!
They didn't ask why I was there. They knew.
There he is.
As most of them were wanted as well. I figured Hardin was here somewhere, but to get to him, I'd have to get past his gun. I had to spill a lot of blood to find out Hardin wasn't in that camp. He was carousing in town with his closest friends.
Не, дайте мне писать обратно.
Hardin's boys apparently didn't want me to reach the Bull's Head. Some were hightailing it into town to inform their jefe of my unwelcomed presence.
Better hide. Tell Hardin someone's coming for him. Stop that bitch! Let the boys know we got another.
Так, подождите-ка. Я могу прокачать. Ну, вот еще надо жить до 4 уровня комбо.
Oh, dog.
Ну что скорострел.
I wondered if Bob was among them.
Скорее нет. Ладно, возьму гравированного рейнджера.
And I steeled myself for the fight ahead.
Так, а я не пропускаю никакие комментарии на ютубе. Нет.
For as good as I was, deep down I wondered if John Wesley wasn't just a little bit better. Before I could test my mettle against Hardin, however, I would first need to dispatch his cadre of hired killers. Most of these degenerates were beyond redemption, but John Wesley might have been a different story.
По-моему, сейчас пройти сцену. Mentioned that I found Hardin in this very saloon. Suffice it to say, nobody there was happy to see me.
Everything.
In fact, I felt a certain hostility. Disappointed that neither Bob nor John Wesley were among the dead. But that was short-lived, as a moment later I was facing down the fastest gun in the West. I felt a bolt of adrenaline, or maybe that was fear. He was well known for his tricks, and I knew I'd need my own if I was ever to defeat him. That man was faster than greased lightning. But being inebriated as he was, he didn't count his shots. And now, he was at my mercy.
So he didn't die?
No, I sent him to prison. Years later, after he was free, some restless Avenger took his life. Shot him in the back in a saloon just like this one. Anybody up for another beer? Ben?
Ну, понятно, что Бен уже кто-то из этих. Как мне кажется.
Thank you, darling. Yeah, some say revenge is a dish best served cold.
So whatever happened to that Bob guy you were after?
Personally, I'd like to hear some of your other adventures. Like, I don't know, do you ever go toe-to-toe with a red man?
Серый волк.
Yes, I did, Ben. I remember once I was after this renegade Apache, Grey Wolf. Strangely enough, revenge was also his primary motivation.
О.
A bounty was put on Grey Wolf's head, and that's how I came to hunt him in the mountains. Mountains so high they tickled the nether regions of heaven. Grey Wolf was a Chiricahua Apache medicine man who had led a war party in revenge for a massacre against his people. The U.S. Army had attacked his tribe during his daughter's sacred sunrise ceremony, and the slaughter was unspeakable. I understood his anger, as there's nothing more traumatic than seeing those you love die in a cruel and painful death. Right from the beginning, I couldn't shake the feeling that Grey Wolf was watching my every move. He led a band of young Apache warriors who wanted retribution and were more than willing to die for him.
And they will.
They saw me before I saw them.
Ну что, guys?
And it crossed my mind that maybe this wasn't such a good idea.
Ну, хоть успела прийти такая мысль.
They saw me before I saw them.
Вот эти блики отвлекают, если честно. Я ни разу не попал.
And it crossed my mind that maybe this wasn't such a good idea. But now that the shooting has started, there was no backing down. It was rugged country, the winter home of the Chiricahuas, and that's why they had retreated there. I admit to having some regrets about going after them the way I did. But then again, I got a lot of those.
Grey Wolf?
Not at that moment, but I did find the entrance to their hideout. Deep crevice that led to a deeper cave.
Don't tell me you went in there.
Yeah, but it's not out of bravery so much as pure, angry cussedness.
прыгать вниз я точно не стану. И я встал. И не стоило. Вот это из всех вам можно ждать. Кто? Не перепроходить эту игру я точно не буду. Я даже не уверен, что хочу ее то пройти. Хотя она не настолько плоха, чтобы забрасывать ее.
See, back then, I had a stubborn streak a mile wide, and I wasn't about to back down.
So it was like pitch black in there?
Actually, it was pretty well lit. They had torches on the walls.
Ну хотя бы патрон. Так.
His cave.
Big as hell, Ben. Chiricahua had hid out there during the Indian Wars. They thought it was haunted with the ghosts of those murdered by the horse soldiers.
The cave was haunted with dead Indian ghosts?
To be honest, I was more concerned with the live ones than the dead ones.
Да. Кстати, катсцены врубаются достаточно неожиданно.
How come you know so much much about engines?
A few years back, I was married to two Mescalero women.
At the same time?
Yeah, they were sisters. Polygyny is traditional among the Mescalero.
So what happened?
Oh, I had to get out of there. Those girls never shut up. Both of them nagging at me all the time. Drove me half crazy. Haven't seen them since.
No, I mean, what happened with Grey Wolf?
Oh, well, I pursued him into the Cave of Death. I came upon this flooded grotto, and that's when I saw him. He came to me unarmed and unafraid. His voice echoed in the shadows, and I sensed he meant me no harm.
You carry great darkness in your heart, and if you do not release it, it will claim your soul.
The sound of his voice put some kind of ancient Indian spell on me. As his story unfolded in my mind,
You will come to this place again and kill many more men, and the darkness will grow until it consumes everything that you are. The soul would have no rainbow if the eye had no tears.
he said I was a great warrior, a coyote man, unequaled by any other pale-faced warrior, or something like that.
The snakes will bite shadows of your past until a venom poisons your heart, and an echo of the song of the dead summons the spirits deep from within the mountains.
Рукопашная атака пока ни разу не пригодилась.
As his story unfolded in my mind,
You will come to this place again and kill many more men, and the darkness will grow until it consumes everything that you are. The soul would have no rainbow if the eye had no tears.
he said I was a great warrior, a coyote man, unequaled by any other pale-faced warrior, or something like that.
The snakes will bite shadows of your past until a venom poisons your heart, and an echo of the song of the dead summons the spirits deep from within the mountains.
I didn't quite get what he was saying, but there was definitely snakes. And indeed, his warriors surrounded me and attacked me like hungry wolverines. They couldn't stop me, though, and Grey Wolf wasn't in the mood for idle talk.
Так, что я могу взять? Резетку наберу. Да. Ладно, пусть будет, да.
I swear I couldn't see any way out of this trap. But suddenly, one just appeared. Kind of like a miracle. I felt like I would be lost in that damn cave forever.
Однажды не вышел.
Finally, I found myself back outside, perched on the edge of a precipice, overlooking a thundering whitewater river. To get where I was going required several leaps of faith, but no way in hell I was turning back. I chased after him, determined to make him explain the meaning of all that mumbo-jumbo.
Mumbo-jumbo is right. Are you making this all up as you go?
A few details may be fuzzy, brother, but I am relating exactly what happened to me. There were dozens of Apache warriors aiming at me from on high.
Dozens?
Well, maybe not dozens, but there was a lot of them.
At least 3 or 4.
Well, More than that, little lady. Ahead of me and scrambled up those rocks like a mountain goat. I was determined to locate Grey Wolf and find out exactly what the hell he was trying to tell me. And wouldn't you know it, that crafty son of a bitch led me right into a trap.
What kind of trap?
Well, son, there had to be at least 100 Apaches surrounding me.
100?
God be my witness.
Oh, come on. Who are you kidding?
Hey, I believe you. Come on, tell us how it ended.
All right, but I'm not gonna drag this out. Where were we?
You were surrounded by 100 Apache warriors.
Well, I didn't take the time to count them exactly, but there were a lot of them.
Хоть кого-то был хпшный. Так, что там? Динамит, да?
And in the end, a path appeared before me that I had not seen before. I followed it as I desperately needed to find out what Grey Wolf was trying to tell me. But it was like that son of a bitch disappeared into thin air.
Ну да, ну да.
Never did find him. And never did collect my goddamn bounty. Thank you, darling. It's interesting how the truth can sometimes seem might malleable, depending upon your point of view.
Like how those dime novels make you out to be something you're not?
Jack, don't be starting trouble.
No, he's right. They do tend to exaggerate.
Did they exaggerate your part in taking down the Daltons?
Well, I was there in the flesh, boy, so I saw what happened firsthand. Those Daltons were lawmen once, before they all went bad, robbing banks and trains clear across the territory. Until Coffeeville, of course. I was one of the citizens who took up arms that day.
Fighting on the side of the right?
I did my best, sir. We all did. It was early morning. One of my friends was a local gunsmith, and he handed out firearms to anybody who'd take one. You see, the Daltons got it in their heads to rob two banks at the same time. Two banks on the same damn street. Story was Bob Dalton's girl was always writing him about how he had no ambition. Oh, you're nobody next to Jesse James, she'd say. Finally, the bastard took his brothers to Coffeeville just to shut her up. Well, the locals recognized the Daltons right off.
We got us a hero.
Before they could get away, half the town took up arms to defend their property. The brothers paid dearly for their stupidity, but everybody knows they had it coming.
There's more to it than that. I read all about that day, so I know for a fact that it went down very differently. First of all, it was high noon. A posse of U.S. deputy marshals were on the rooftop across the street.
Get ready, boys. They're gonna make a move.
The lawmen had been tracking the Daltons for months, but now they finally had them dead to rights. Among them was a bounty hunter feared by many a lawbreaker. The marshals tried to get the Daltons to surrender.
They'll give up eventually. We just gotta wait the son of a bitches out.
This bounty hunter knew that the brothers were far too proud to ever lay down their guns. He went in there alone to confront those criminals. One of the marshals shouted, "Where are you going? Are you crazy?"
Hey, where do you think you're going, dumbass? That rifle's mine.
But he paid him no mind. He saw a way to get around to the back of the bank. Then he figured out how to hit the Daltons from a direction they weren't expecting. From above. Fortunately, a water tower was right there. A moment later, he was climbing up a steep ladder, laughing at danger as he did. It was brave men like him who risked their lives to tame this wild hunter.
We've got company.
Heroic men like him, who did what other men couldn't or wouldn't to make this country free. Like Jim Bowie and Davy Crockett, who died defending the Alamo.
А где выход?
Is that Silas Greaves? Son of a bitch!
Now you're really pissing me off.
Over there! Silas Greaves! What the hell?
Bland, Bland! He came away victorious, taking down those thieving Daltons. His name was Silas Greaves, and when the dust finally settled, he was the last man standing.
Sorry, kid, but that just wasn't the way it happened.
А давайте сделаем так, чтобы пришлось
It was early
проходить.
evening, not high noon.
Один уровень
The
трижды.
Daltons blew up a safe, and we're all set to hightail it out of there. I was late to the party, and Coffeeville was already up in arms. Those pathetic deputies surrounding the bank were dropping like flies. I had been tracking those jokers for months, waiting for them to do something reckless. Finally, they did. Those stupid bastards decided to rob 2 banks at the same time in the same town where everybody knew them. But they still had friends in coffee. You can't get me.
Вот, вроде они больше никуда не спешат.
Came after me like a pack of wild dogs, tooth and nail. They were coming at me from all directions. I caught sight of the Daltons running with the money and didn't want to lose them. Problem was, they knew the town better than I did. And to top it off, I found myself in the middle of another shootout entirely.
Did the Daltons hole up in somebody's house?
No, it was the Smiths, I believe. They were cousins of the Daltons. They were shooting at the Browns, who were shooting at the Daltons, which wasn't any surprise, because those two families have been feuding forever. And since the Joneses are related to the Browns, they shot at the Smiths. Get those boys! Shoot them down! They ain't getting away with this! Come on, we gotta get out of here! Think they know who we are? And since the Joneses are related to the Browns, they shot at the Smiths, pissing off the Heimhoffers, whose daughter recently married a Smith. Well, bullets were flying every which way as all the old feuds in Kansas caught fire all at once. There was a hell of a lot of pissed off people in Coffeeville that day. But that's just the way life is sometimes. Shit happens. That's right.
Это уже дома решили сделать. Ну ладно. Нет ачивки, что на то, что все прокачало оружие.
The Dalton boys knew I would never give up. Those Daltons weren't the sharpest knives in the drawer, but they always stood together. They set a trap to slow me down and allow at least two of them to escape. The third brother stayed behind to plant me, just in case that trap of theirs didn't work.
А где он?
It was Emmett, the youngest, and he decided to stand his ground and face me down.
I ain't afraid of you, Silas Reeves. This is where it ends for you.
He was determined to protect his brothers. And I understood how he felt. Taking me on all by his lonesome wasn't exactly a recipe for a long life.
That all you got?
Oh.
I'm gonna cut you in half. You are dead. Gonna send you to the bone orchard. Gonna beat you like a redheaded stepchild.
But Emmett Dalton survived the robbery in Coffeeville. He's the only Dalton who did.
They say he was shot 23 times.
Well, Dwight, who do you think put all those damn holes in him? But I have to admit, that boy had grit.
Так, прежде чем продолжать, мне надо посмотреть важный момент. Пу-пу-пу-пу-пу. Продолжительность игры. Сюжет. Нет, не сюжет. А то сейчас проспойлерю себе. Juarez, Gunslinger. Полная бы. Так. Так. А сейчас братья Далтоны были, видимо. Сейчас будет дикая банда, да? В общем... А, нет, наверное, братья Далтона еще продолжатся. Что их надо все-таки завершить. А потом уже... Ой. В общем, оставлю прохождение на потом. За 2 стрима хотя бы пройду.
It took me a couple of days to track the Daltons down.
Вот, на сегодня все. Всем спасибо за внимание. Всем пока. Как-нибудь пройду обязательно. Ну, не обязательно, но как бы... Ну, да пройду что-то. Игра-то длится, проходит 4 часа. Не самые, может, лучшие 4 часа на свете. Но, как бы... Что поделать? Не самые худшие 4 часа на свете. Вот, поэтому всем спасибо. Всем пока. Всем хорошего настроения. Надеюсь, сегодня мне было слышно получше. Вот. В понедельник новый клип. Если кому интересно.